I want to get right into this situation with Gervonta Davis. So if you're watching this show, that means you're a boxing diehard. It means you already know that Gervonta Davis put his hands on a woman. And there's a video of it. Oh, Jim Lampley. Oh, Jim, you didn't need to comment like that. Jim, that was inappropriate. It wasn't hitting. It wasn't bang, bang. But Gervonta Davis put his hands around a woman's neck. I guess this is the mother of his child. Lifted her up, pushed her out of an arena. I think there was hundreds of people there. It was, I don't know if it was a Super Bowl party or what was going on, but it was in public in front of everyone. Anyone could see this. It wasn't a private moment or anything like that. So this video went viral. Gervonta Davis, his name was trending. This was not a good week. It looks like he's disabled, I think his Twitter account, or maybe it's the Instagram. He's wiped them or disabled them, whatever it is. It just got off social media. So clearly, Leonard Ellerbe picked up the phone and said, dude, what are you doing? Get off of social. Because he posted some response. It might have been on Instagram or something like that, where he said, hey, I didn't hit her. Come on, it wasn't that bad. That's basically what he was saying. And so he's off social right now. Would I like to hear a statement from Floyd Mayweather and Mayweather Promotions, Leonard Ellerbe, even Steven Espinoza and Showtime and all those guys that love to act woke and say certain things when it benefits them and get silent in situations like this? Would I love to hear a statement from them? Yes, I would. Do I expect it? No. So Gervonta Davis also has a history here. Right? He's been arrested for assault before. There's a history there. He's been accused of assault multiple times, male and female. So this is a guy with a history. And then he's had issues in boxing as well, being unprofessional, not making weight for fights. Those things are not linked to the abuse situation. I'm just saying there's plenty of links in a chain here, okay? So I'm not surprised that this video trended and that Gervonta Davis's name trended. Now, what I have seen that sadly doesn't surprise me, but still disappoints me, is that there are people on social media defending this shit. Just outright defending it. Finding ways, doing all these mental gymnastics to defend this behavior. And let me be clear about something. Fellas, it is never okay to put your hands on a woman like that, unless it's a self-defense situation or something like that. Ladies, it is never okay for you to put your hands on a man like that. Never, okay? Unless it's a self-defense situation. End of story. That's it. There is no, well, gray area. No, it's just no. You don't do it. There's no defending this. Although there are people out there defending this. That sickens me and pisses me off. But what pisses me off worse is that there are YouTubers, there are Facebook boxing chat rooms and popular Twitter profiles related to boxing out there trying to do this whataboutism. For those of you who don't know what a whataboutism is, look it up, okay? It's kind of a new term or whatever, but actually it's not that new of a term. But it's basically, without getting into all the details, it's comparing two things. It's a false equivalency. How about that? In this situation, there's a bunch of people saying, well, what about Kovalev? What about Sergey Kovalev? He put his hands on a woman too. Supposedly, he was accused of that. There's no evidence. It hasn't been proven in court yet because he's going to go to court. He's going to have his day in court. And so there's a bunch of people out there playing the whataboutism game and trying to bring up Sergey Kovalev's name is a means to justify what Gervonta Davis did. And then there's some people taking it further than that in saying, well, man, when Sergey Kovalev did whatever he was accused of doing last year, which again, he's going to have his day in court. It was delayed, but he will have his day in court in California later this year, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I believe it's later this year. Why didn't that trend? Why didn't, when Sergey Kovalev apparently put his hands on a woman, why didn't that trend? Why wasn't his name trending on social media? It must be because of fill in the blank. And people are using all sorts of different reasons. It's the typical bullshit. It's the divisive identity politics game, right? And there are people, particularly on YouTube, doing this. I've seen some of the videos, the titles of the videos. I can't really watch more than 30 seconds because they're so bad. That try to get into this, and it's so obvious what these people are trying to do. They are trying to divide human beings. They are trying to create division between people boxing fans mostly, because that's why we're all here, in attempts to profit financially. They're profiting off of gullible, sheep-like, ignorant people that want their confirmation bias fed. Now, there's a lot of things I see in boxing media that drive me nuts. Last week, for example, there were suddenly every boxing channel was making videos about Kobe Bryant. Every boxing podcast was dedicated to Kobe Bryant. Now, it's one thing if you want to give your quick thoughts, but there were some podcasts and some shows that were doing an entire episode about Kobe Bryant. Meanwhile, they're a boxing channel, making sure they put Kobe Bryant in their tags, in the title, in the description, because that helps them in the search engine, gets more clicks. And I checked on a few of them, and I saw that a few of them had record ratings that week. Funny how that shit works. I saw some people taking old videos they had with Kobe Bryant, old interviews, and reposting it and hashtagging tagging the hell out of it, monetizing it, of course, profiting off the death of somebody before he was even buried yet. Now, is that shit sleazy? Yeah. Does it happen all the time? What do I call it? Clickbait. Do I hate clickbait? Of course. But I think it's sleazy. I think it's unethical. It doesn't necessarily make the people that are doing it bad people. I just don't agree with their method, their style, and what they're doing. I wouldn't do it that way, okay? Doesn't necessarily make them bad people, though. But let me be clear about something. Let me make sure I'm looking right into the camera when I say this. If you're one of these people that routinely looks for wedge issues and tries to create false equivalencies and creates conspiracy theories, race baiting, gender baiting, whatever it is, purposely misleading gullible sheep-like people that need to have that confirmation bias fed for your financial gain, you are a bag of shit. You're a terrible person. You're what's wrong with society. You're what's wrong with the media right now. This is a microcosm of the entire media. The problem with all of media, not just sports, not just boxing. You are a problem. You are the problem. I don't think there's anything that's going to redeem you. You're a bag of shit, and I hope you die of syphilis and rot in hell. Could I make that any more clear? The reason why it's a false equivalency to compare Tank Davis's viral video this weekend to what happened with Sergey Kovalev is because there's no video of what happened with Sergey Kovalev. It's a person accusing him, a person with a very checkered past accusing him of something. There's no video. That's why it didn't go viral. There's nothing to go viral. You're comparing two things that don't compare. It's disingenuous. If you want to compare something that's similar, not the same, not the exact same, but similar to the Gervonta Davis situation, let's bring up Kubrat Pulev. Remember what happened with him last year? Kubrat Pulev. He has a one-on-one video, interview, I should say, with really a no-name in the industry. Nobody knew who this girl was before. She disappeared after. But he had an interview with this girl whom he had a history with. Members of his team had a history with. And some of that video and information came out subsequent to the whole fiasco. But during the interview, which wasn't in a big crowded place, it was in a small space where there weren't many people around, he, like an idiot, kissed her unprovoked with a camera right in front of him. It was a stupid move and a blunder by Kubrat Pulev. But guess what? The girl didn't even really say anything about it for almost a week, I believe. She didn't need to. The video went viral, not just on boxing Twitter, but internationally. It was covered by not only mainstream sports media publications, but mainstream media outlets that don't even cover sports. CNN picked it up. Fox picked it up. Dozens of languages around the world, dozens of countries around the world picked that story up to the point where the girl felt compelled, Gloria Allred felt compelled to contact her, and they filed a lawsuit that, of course, went nowhere. That story, which, let's be clear, what Kubrat Pulev did was stupid and unwarranted. It was an idiotic decision. But what he did was not as bad as what Gervonta Davis did. Both bad, but there are levels, okay? But that video went way more viral internationally, globally, than Gervonta Davis's video did. Why aren't these heroes defending Gervonta Davis, bringing up Sergey Kovalev? Why aren't they bringing up Kubrat Pulev? Why? Because it destroys their idiotic narrative. And all the sheep that keep clicking on their videos and giving these guys money and financing their horrible, shitty lives, that would destroy their confirmation bias. It wouldn't feed it. Kubrat Pulev, suspended, fined, had to take a sensitivity class, or what was it, a sexual assault sensitivity class by the California State Athletic Commission. Has Gervonta Davis faced any of that? Any of it? The answer is no. There's been zero repercussions. Even the network he fights on, Steven Espinoza, Mr. Woke, hasn't said a goddamn thing. So can it with this shit? Stop trying to make these false equivalencies. Stop trying to say that there's some kind of conspiracy against certain demographics of fighters while other demographics of fighters are protected, when there is a case within the last 12 months of a guy who's every bit as Caucasian as Sergey Kovalev getting the riot act, getting it up the ass with no lube because there was a video of it. Stop with this bullshit. And to you guys watching me right now, I love you and support you for watching my channel. If you're subscribed to those channels and you're clicking on them, even if you're doing it to make fun of these guys, stop. You're part of the problem too, because you're supporting them. These people are a leech on boxing. They don't create boxing fans. They create fanagers. You want to know who creates the fanagers? It's not guys like me. It's guys like them. They create fans of promoters. They create fans of networks. I'm trying to turn casual boxing fans into diehard boxing fans. I'm the guy that helps drive this sport. I'm one of many. I'm not trying to say I'm the only one. I'm one of many, including people on watching right now, like Gail Falkenthal. I see her on the chat. We're the people who drive this sport. We are who service the diehard fans. We don't create fanagers here. It's those idiots that create this divisive material. Stop feeding them. Unsubscribe and ignore them.